Welcome all. Thanks for joining our afternoon training session. Today we're going to be going through iGyro Gantt charts and also touching on the new supplier approval process and the new feature where you can drag and drop photos and attachments onto individual tasks. So we'll run through that whole process, show you how to set up a Gantt chart and then use those new features. And towards the end, we'll open up the floor for any questions that you might have had along the way. So stay around for that last little bit and you can have a one-on-one with us at the end. All right, so what we're looking at here is the initial iGyro portal job screen. So if you're new to this and you haven't set up a job, you've got the new job button at the top right-hand corner here. So go ahead and you can click on that and just follow the prompts to create a job. I'm going to use an existing job for today just to demonstrate this. And what we're looking for is the site schedule here. So when you create your new job, you'll have all of your tabs. We'll jump across to the site schedule. Alrighty, so when you first open up your job on the site schedule, you'll have a blank screen here. So there's a few different ways you can go ahead and start creating your tasks for your Gantt chart so you can start managing your site. And one of the simplest ways is just to add a task in here. It's just a simple way here of selecting your standard tasks. So we've got some other resources that'll show you how to go through and set up tasks. These are global tasks in your system from the admin screen. We won't cover that today, but if you click on add, you can choose standard task and you've got a list of all of your tasks that are configured in your system. So slab down, for example, we'd probably find that one. You choose your dates and the duration it will take and click on save and you've got your first task. So that task we can double click and that will give you some more editing options. You can drag the task in the Gantt to whatever date you need. And you can change the duration just by grabbing that little handle and you can make it a 3-day task or make it a lot longer if you need to. Okay, so that's a simple way of adding your task to start with. Now, an even quicker way now is to use templates. So if we click on the tools button, choose the templates option, and the first option that we've got here is apply all tasks. So if you're new to this, you haven't configured your own templates to get your jobs up and running, you would probably start with this one. So you've configured all of your tasks in the admin panel. You'd come into here as a project manager and apply all tasks. This is just a warning to let you know it'll delete whatever's in here. So it'll delete that slab down that we just entered and it will apply all of those tasks. Alrighty, so we have a lot of tasks in this system. And as you can probably appreciate here, it's probably a bit of work here to set these up and drag the dates out to what you would expect. But once you have a few tasks in here, you can go ahead and set up dependencies between all of these tasks. So if you hover your mouse over the top of these, as we showed before, you can change the duration just with that slider. But as you hover over, you'll see the dark blue dots on either side of those tasks there. So generally, when you're setting up a dependency, it's going to be finish. So the finish of this task will drive the start of the next task. So we could draw a connecting line by clicking that little blue dot, dragging. You can see that line there as I'm clicking and dragging that to the start of the next one, dropping that on, and it's drawn a dependency between those tasks. Okay, so what that does now, that's connected those tasks so that then when you move them, the preceding task will get shoved along with that as well. So we put a date here, it's the 10th of the 3rd. If we move that onto the next week, all of those tasks shift along with it. Alrighty, so this is, I've just double clicked one of those tasks there and it'll open up the editing screen. So we can change some of those things from here as well. Change the duration, for example. Again, that'll push the other tasks along. We can set a progress on here as well. So this is just for your visual interest here. You can say that this particular task is 50% complete, 49%, hit save, and I'll just give you that indicator that we're halfway through. You'll also notice the little triangle there for that percentage as well. We can just drag that around as well. Okay, so just to go through some of these other options here, we can assign business contacts. So if I just do a quick search for Bunnings, for example, in our database, they come from your business contacts. It'll pull up their details into here. You can add comments for yourself as well, and attachments will come back to shortly. There is just this little colored box. Now, this is just for visual interest as well. Just for some reason, if you want to mark this task with a, I don't know, with a blue option, you could do that. And it will just give you that little tiny dot there just to give you that visual indicator of a color. Something else, a purple. There we go. Changes that one as well. So now we've assigned a supplier on here. We can hover over the top and it will tell us that Bunnings is the supplier assigned to this one. And it's got a pending status. So this supplier has not confirmed they'll be on site for this at this stage. So this is the new feature we're talking about the supplier approvals. So before we get into that, I'll run back through another option with templates. So we've gone through and we started setting up this template. Now you could save this job. So you could create a brand new job if you wanted to and just call it my Gantt template. And it just means that once you set that up how you want, including many of your suppliers and dates and all of your dependencies, you can copy that template or copy that Gantt chart to any other job that you're starting. That's a really fast way to get going. So to do that, same process here to apply the template. So tools, templates, and we will go select template this time. And essentially you can search every job or any job in your system and use its Gantt chart on this job. So I've just typed in the word template. I've got a few in this database set up. So I'll pick this one here, our demo supplier template, and I'll apply that template. All right, so this one's got a bit more detail. There's lots of dependencies already pre-drawn. We've got suppliers already assigned. And we've got some due dates here. Now, I'm just going to try and bring this back a bit. I'll change this date back to February. So it's shifted everything that's connected. It's already been dragged back along with that date as well, just so you can see what happens when things are overdue. So we can see here we've got our red indicator to indicate that these tasks should have already occurred. We've got a start date here, due date. That date has passed, so it's marked in red visually. Come down to about the slab, and that's due today, so it's still in yellow, just giving you a warning that that's coming up and it's due. And when you complete a task, let's we can right click on that, and there's an option here for mark complete. So click on that, it'll just mark it as green. It'll change that progress to 100%, and you can see that it's visually completed. All right, you can also complete just by double clicking and choosing a date. Okay, complete, done. Now, when you're working on a mobile phone, you won't really get this Gantt chart as such because it's a very wide process. It works really well on your large computer screen. So on a mobile phone, we're just basically using this like a list. I can see we're getting some questions coming through, but we'll hold this off until the end if we can. We'll come back to any questions that you might have. So on your mobile phone, you'll just have a list. So it'll just have the list here. The best way to handle that is just double clicking it or double tapping on your phone. It'll open up this editor and you can easily change the details that you need. Okay, now we're going to come on to some of the new processes here. So this is getting approvals from suppliers and trades. So you can see here we've got due dates already set. I might bring this back up to a more current date. Shift everything along. Alrighty, so when we hover over these suppliers here or trades, it'll tell us who they are with their name in that pop-up, but also tell us their status. So it's just in pending, they haven't approved or haven't committed to that date that we've set. Now, before we go too much further, we do need to shoot back to the admin screen. We'll go into group settings and global settings, and it should be on by default, but just make sure that your supplier portal enabled is switched on to yes. Go back to that one. Okay, so now there's a few things that will happen here. We can double click this. So when you're ready to do your sidecar in this example, we can come into here, and this one doesn't have an email address assigned, so I'll pick a different one. I'm going to pick one down here. This is a good demo one. So you're up to a point of this task. We want the pods and steel here, and we can click on this email option as a call up. So it's already pre-formatted with some text here. So it's saying that we need to call up for the pods and steel. It'll give the supplier the job and address. And this button here, this confirm date, is new. So by switching on that setting in the admin panel, we now get this confirm date button. If you didn't want to send that for this particular one for some reason, you can just delete that out and send it without it. Okay, and before you send that, you may wish to attach some attachments from this job. And there's a few options here from that attach button. We can select attachment links from the job. So we've already got attachments inside the attachment tab. So we can choose that, and we can search for plans and things. A construction plan, so we could choose that and just insert that. So it'll insert it as a link because that gets around a lot of size constraints. So a lot of email systems still have, say, a 10 megabyte limit. Attaching just as a link in here that they can download from avoids that limit. All right, so that was attaching from the job. We can attach from the cost center. So again, this is a really good setup thing. So you do that ahead of time globally in your business. We have some other guides around how to do that. But essentially, you have all of your cost centers, and you can find a cost center, say framing hardware, for example, and insert all the links. So there's some rules in the system that say we need the site safety rules, we need the purchase order to go with it, and we need the construction plan. And it pops them all in one click. Alrighty, so we can send that off. Just make sure it's just going to me, that's fine. Okay, and what the supplier or trade is going to get, I'll see if I can pull one up. All right, it'll be something like this. So it's just got the call up information, it's got the job address, and they'll have that button to click. So the first time around, they'll click this button, but they won't be signed in. They don't have access to the system at this point in time. And essentially they'll have a screen that will show up. I don't have that screen available to me. Oh, here we go. So it'll be a screen like this, and it will just ask them to enter their email address if it didn't pre-populate. It should do. And they'll click on the send access link. They'll receive one more email with a secure link for them to click. Once they click that, they will be straight into the system, and they will see a screen like this. So this is their supplier portal. And we've got quote requests here. So the same login for them accesses the site schedule and all of their tasks that are assigned to them, plus the quote requests, which we've covered in another webinar. So important to point out here, it's not like the traditional way that you would say, look, I'm going to invite this particular person. Just by virtue of sending them a call up or an email from the site schedule with that button in it, gives them access to the system with no passwords. It just gives them a secure link to log in. Once they've done that for the first time, they'll be logged in for 30 days and they will not need to do that process again. They'll just click on that link and shoot them straight into that supplier portal. All right, so hopefully there shouldn't be too much confusion in that process. It's just a matter of you sending the email, they click and follow the link. Okay, now If we come into schedule notifications, tool schedule. So some of you will be familiar with this. This is a list of things that have changed on your site. So as you assign your suppliers, this particular company here, it'll gather all of the tasks that are assigned to them on this particular site, and it will lump them together in here and let them know what their date is for those particular tasks. So when you're setting up your schedule for the first time, you've used a template, you might have 20 or 30 suppliers all assigned here. You could have a big long list in here. You can choose who to send this to, click on the send button, or you can control click and cherry pick the ones you'd like to send the email to, or click the top one, shift click the bottom and send the entire lot. And that will email off to all of your suppliers and trades and let them know of the date that's assigned to them. So let's just say I'll send this one off. Okay, so while we're just waiting for that to send through, we did see before we've got the pending indicators. So we've got a little gray indicator to say things are pending. And now we've sent all these off. This is what's happening in the supplier portal now. So when a supplier gets their email, they can click on the confirmed dates and they can see all of the tasks that are assigned to them, not just for that one job that we're working on, but every single job in the system. So they can go through and they can start approving all of these. So for our pods and steel, for example, they either double click or click on the little edit button there to open up this screen, and they can just choose approve, propose a new date, or decline. So if we approve that, it's marked off as approved for them in their portal. And next time as a project manager, you come into this screen, you're going to see that this is green now. So Pods and Steel has an approved date on it. All right, if for some reason something changes, so something that depends on gets shifted, we move, say, this one up here. Okay, so all of those dates have changed all the way down, and this one's gone back to needs reapproval. Alrighty, so when the suppliers log in, they're going to see that something needs reapproval, or there's a new date that's changed. You probably also want to let them know too. So you can always do your normal call-ups from here as well. When the date gets close, you do your call-up process. But also in here, it helps you keep track of if the supplier understands and knows that you've got a date set up for them or the date has changed. So in here, we've got a little calendar that lets us know that we've already sent an email. But because it's highlighted in orange and it's telling us that we sent the email prior to the date that changed. So it's warning us that they may not know the actual date that it is now. So the best case here is for you to resend that one. Resend that away. That will give them a notification, say, hey, here's your new dates, and they can go through and they can reconfirm. Right, so they come back in here, they're going to see a big orange thing that says needs reapproval for this particular Pods and Steel. All right, so they can propose a new date. It'll ask them to pick a new date from the calendar and for a message to go with that. Same with decline, they'll have to enter a message. But if they just go ahead and approve, done, back to approved. And when we load up our schedule, we can have confidence here that the supplier's seen it, it's marked in green, and the status is approved. So we know that the supplier is going to turn up on time. Okay, so hopefully that's enough of going through that supplier approval process. So the last thing I'll sort of get through now is attaching photos to these tasks. So we double click that, you notice this new section here for attachments. So we can click to select files from the file system, or you can drag and drop them as well, which I like to do. So we can drag and drop multiple if we need to. Photos as well as other documents like PDFs can also work. So when they're uploaded, we can click on one of those links and it will start up a bit of a slideshow that you can flick through. Close that down. And a little indicator to let you know that you do have attachments on these tasks is just here. So just to the left of the task name, we'll see this task has attachments, telling us there are 3 attached to this one. Double click to open. So yeah, click to open that slideshow. If it's a PDF, it will just download it for you. You can, of course, if you want to download that file, right click, save link as, and it will save the file for you. All right, now important to note here, to delete these out, if I hit delete from here, it's just going to remove it from this task, but it's still in our system. So I'll show you where those get uploaded to. Close that down. I should say we've now only got 2 files on that one. But all of these files and photos that are attached in these tasks end up in attachments under uploads. And there's a few other folders here, one for maintenance, so you can do that in maintenance as well. We've also got site schedule uploads, which is the 3 files we've just uploaded, and tasks is files that you've uploaded into the tasks. For this one, we'll look at the site schedule. You click on that little thumbnail button, we get this gallery style again. You can flick through. But you'll notice that all of the files are there. So even the deleted one, the one that we removed from the site schedule, is still in this folder here in the back end. But you can delete it from here. So delete one of those out. Okay, deleting it from here will also delete it from the site schedule, so it won't be available in there either. You will also notice too that we've got the description in here. So we've attached this to the pods and steel. It just lets us know that this file was attached by the pods and steel task. Okay, so that is everything I needed to cover today. So if there are any questions, please let me know.